What's good, Internet? Welcome to the Valentine's Day edition of the Fray. You either did something especially right to be able to listen to this with your loved one tonight, or you did something especially wrong to be able to not listen to this with your loved one tonight. Either way, we welcome you. The Fray is a fighting game podcast devoted to the news and views of games and those who play them. We have a rotating cast of characters. All of which are returning favorites tonight. I'm going to go down the line and introduce each of these guys one by one, starting with our first guest from the East Coast. You know him as Saban, Arturo Sanchez, a.k.a. NYC Furby. How you doing?
Oh, hi. How you doing, Daddy?
Good. You can
How's
follow
everybody
him on
doing?
Twitter at NYC Furby. Also returning tonight, we have Gutex in the building. How you doing?
Doing all right. Thank you for having me back.
For sure. You can follow Gutex on Twitter at Gutex. We have Martin Blake coming in from Utah. How you doing?
We're all gonna die alone.
Oh, we're all going to die alone. You can follow Martin on Twitter at Blu-ray. And then my name is Derry. You can follow me on Twitter at DerryH. First up tonight, we're going to talk about the announcement today, one of the 5 Road to Evolution tournaments this year. NorCal Regionals finally locked down the date. It's going to be April 24th. Oh, wait a minute. Is that right? It's April 20... Hold on, I got to look it up. I just had it. 26th, 27th, and 28th. It's going to be from Sunnyvale at the Domain Hotel, which is one of our previous venues that we had. We actually, little known secret, the Street Fighter Monsters raged a little too hard, and we got asked to leave, and that's why we ended up not having that tournament at that venue the last couple times. But we're back. I guess they worked it. They smoothed it out. They smoked the peace pipe, and I'm actually really looking forward to this year's NCR. NCR is kind of labored in the shadow of its Southern California brother for a long time, even though it's one of the older tournaments in North America. This is the 11th installment of NorCal Regionals. But NCR always kind of sets the narrative for the year. Last year's NCR, we saw Infiltration win his very first Street Fighter Cross Tekken Major ever. And then, of course, he went on to win every Street Fighter Cross Tekken Major that he played in for the rest of the year. And we also saw him place his first strong North American finish. He placed second in Street Fighter 4. Until that point, I think his highest North American Street Fighter 4 finish was his top 8 performance at Evolution the previous year. But he placed second place last year. So we've got a tournament that tends to kind of set the narrative for the coming year. And it's going to be April 26th, 27th, and 28th in Sunnyvale, California. Gutex, you've been out to NorCal Regionals, right?
I went when it was the last time it was at the Domain Hotel. Yeah.
Right. Last year's in San Francisco. Oh, you didn't miss, or you missed that one.
Yeah, I did miss that one. But
Well,
when it was at the Domain Hotel, it was I was very impressed with the layout of the hotel, as well as how hyped the tournament was. And actually, from watching last year, just stream monstering it up at home, the stream looked absolutely incredible. But I guess that doesn't matter since it's not at the same spot. But speaking of streams, who's streaming it?
I think actually details are being finalized right now. As you guys know at home, there's a little bit of a shifting of the guard at iPlay Winner right now, with Hans stepping into his new role at Capcom. So I think we're pounding out the details right now with who's going to be bringing you the stream. There definitely will be a stream, so we're just not entirely sure who's going to be at the helm this year. But I'm pretty sure we're going to have a lot of the same people that you guys are used to, a lot of the same commentators. Magus will be there commentating alongside myself, and hopefully we'll get some out-of-town guests. David and James will probably end up hopping on some microphones before the weekend's over. So,
Well, if you guys need somebody to interview people,
well, I'm sure
let
we'll
me
tap
know.
your
I can hold a
resources
microphone.
at some point. But that's also the site we do a lot of those godlike bread and butters that you guys see on iPlay Winners channel. Those are interviews done by Chris Seglia, who is the Fray's lead producer. And I'm sure we'll get some more of those going for next year. And it was also the site we did last year, that really super godlike promo for where all the players were interviewed about their greatest losses. I don't know if you guys caught that one. I forget the exact title of the promo.
Yeah.
but it's on our I Play Winner channel. Probably one of the best fighting game promos I've ever seen, and that's from NCR last year as well. So be sure to check out all the stream when it gets announced. And if you can come. It's in a couple months. There's time to make the tournament. But on the docket for that tournament, we've got every major Evolution game, including Smash Brothers Melee, and that's what I want to talk about first tonight. I want to go into Smash Brothers, and I want to talk about. First off, let's start off the discussion with a very basic question, and I'll direct this to Arturo Sanchez first.
Actually, directed towards someone else. He had to go take a call real quick.
Oh, well, I'll direct it towards Martin Blake since he so helpfully pointed that out. Martin, is Smash Brothers a fighting game?
Okay. I'm just trying to think of what will happen if I say no and what will happen if I say yes.
Weigh those consequences.
Yeah, I know. Okay. Well, here's the thing. I don't really have anything to lose, don't I? So, I would. Technically, it is a fighting game. Like, you fight other people. But I think that's as far as I could say technically. It's not a fighting game that I feel competitive-wise would be on par with some of the other fighting games that are currently out.
Gutex, is Smash Brothers a fighting game?
Well, I guess it just depends on your definition of a fighting game. I mean, maybe it doesn't have like the technical execution that a game like Street Fighter requires, but there's certainly fighting game characters in it. And if you would consider PlayStation All-Stars a fighting game, I mean, you certainly would have to consider Smash a fighting game. And one way or the other, it's already in the lineup. So
That's a good point. I mean, it's there, and that leads us to a follow-up question. Smash Brothers has kind of done its own thing, for better or for worse, for a long time now. It was featured at Evolution twice, once in 2007 and once in 2009, and both times it was at Evolution, it didn't really do so well. It was the Smash players kind of felt like they were punted off to the side. And then there was some drama surrounding the fact that items were allowed during the tournament. And, of course, Smash is infamously played with just about every option toggled off. And at Evolution, they played with random stages and items on, and then the Smash players were unhappy with that. So they've kind of gone their own way. They've not really been a part of the greater fighting game community too often. There are some events where Smash is featured, like Apex and things like that, but those are primarily Smash tournaments that have fighting games there. Martin, what do you think Smash? What do you think Smash stands to gain from being at Evolution 2013?
I think it has to gain a huge, presence there, where it's going to be broadcast to hundreds of thousands of people over its lifetime of the year. I mean, they're showing exactly what Smash is to a huge audience. So I mean, they might be able to pick up some people, but then again, look how old of a game it is. I mean, really, it's not going to do much, is it? Besides just tell people that, hey, there is a Smash community.
Well, that's a good point. I mean, we're not even talking about Brawl. We're not even talking about the newest Smash Bros. Game. We're talking about Melee. Gutex, do you think that having Melee at Evolution will do anything to help increase the player pool for Smash Brothers Melee, considering that this isn't even the newest version of Smash Brothers?
I don't know if it's going to increase the player pool, as in people are going to watch it and then start to play competitively, but I think there's a good chance that it'll put Smash in the minds, or like it'll raise awareness of Smash. And so when maybe there's a Wii U Smash, or that new isn't Namco developing like the next Smash Brothers game?
Yeah, there is a Namco developed Smash Brothers game on the way.
Yeah, so I mean, I think there's enough people out there that have played Smash on a casual level that when they see it at EVO, they'll be like, oh, like I used to play this game, and then that might help generate more like mindshare for the next game coming out. But I don't necessarily think that people are going to try to dig out their old GameCubes and then bust it out. But
Well,
I
that's
don't
another
really think.
thing. Yeah, it's not like
Yeah,
MVC2 where if people saw that they could like, oh, I can go on PSN and download it right now. Whereas with Smash, it's like, okay, I have to go to eBay to find all the crap to play it.
That's a good point. Gutex, there. I know here in NorCal they are hosting some Smash. I've been seeing on Facebook and Twitter people talking about hosting some Smash casuals and some side tournaments and some of the weeklies here to try to get people back into fighting shape who maybe were playing the game before and haven't played in a while. And I even saw an event listing for a Smash Ranbat. NorCal Regionals is going to have Smash as Smash is one of the Evo games. I think all the Road to Evo tournaments have that game on the roster, with the exception of SoCal Regionals, which was too far in the past to have it. But are there anybody? Is there anything popping up down there in SoCal with people picking this game back up in preparation for Evolution or any of the tournaments leading to Evolution?
Yeah, if I recall correctly, Alex Valle made a post somewhere asking for. I think their Level Up is looking, or somebody at Super Arcade is looking to start a Sunday event where it would focus on Skullgirls and Smash Brothers. So there is movement, and I mean, if you think about it, like maybe Smash Brothers players are the missing piece of the puzzle. Maybe getting trading attention will help grow both communities. I mean, Smash is very polarizing, so who knows? But like, it could definitely bring in a new crowd, and we can definitely send them a new crowd because there's not a lot of people. I don't think that are currently involved in fighting games that are into playing Smash.
Well,
So it could be a good trade.
for that, also, I would like to ask Arturo Sanchez now, who's back.
Yo, what's good?
Hey, Arturo. You back, Arturo?
Yes, I'm back. What's up?
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Well,
he
hey,
likes
we were
Smash.
just talking about Smash recently. Just wanted to know your thoughts on it.
Oh, Smash. Regardless of my reservations with the game, like I think the fact that we played competitively for 10 years really says something. Regardless of what I think, I still hold that shit.
Yeah. Hold up. We can barely hear him. Sorry about that.
We just lost Arturo. He'll be back.
Yeah, he'll be back.
Martin, why do you think that Smash is such a polarizing game for the communities? It seems like when you ask fighting game community guys about Smash, that they have one of two opinions, and it's either entirely negative or very, very positive. Either people had good experiences with it themselves and they played it or they liked it, or they hate that game's guts. Why do you think that is so polarizing?
I think it's just because of the game mechanics itself. It's just so radically different from any other type of fighting game, right? I mean, for the most part, I would see the polarizing part just being as in, these people are the traditional fighting game community is used to playing games that have certain type of elements to it, which there are quite a bit of. I mean, besides PSAS, there's not that many other games that are like Smash. And I think
Until a
that's
new
one
one
of the
comes out.
exactly.
Yeah.
But that's like one of the main polarizing issues. I think is just the fighting aspects itself.
Well, I mean,
Yep.
if you look at the game as a fighting game, I mean, you can make the argument that there are things like spacing. I don't want to use the term footsies because I don't believe Smash has footsies, but there is an amalgamation of footsies in Smash where you're worried about spacing and things like that. Smash does have its own execution requirements for things like wave dashing, which, depending on whom you ask, requires a lot of practice to learn or, whatever. But I think at its core, Smash, no matter what, will always have an element of random to it that just can't be eliminated. And that's coming from a game where they are notorious for trying their hardest to make the game as vanilla as possible by playing only one stage, by taking out all the items. But the thing about the game is the nature is with the health totals and things, you could get knocked off the stage at X percentage of life, and it may not be the same way the next time. And things may not play out the same every time. And there are a lot of people. I was talking this weekend to Ricky Ortiz, who talks about Street Fighter Cross Tekken a lot, and he was talking about how he loves that game because the game is he calls it very fair. The game kind of plays itself out every time, and there's not a lot of gimmicks or things like, corner grabbing or whatever you want to talk about to get in the way of the two people fighting. And I said I personally find that to be kind of boring because it's based solely on the neutral game, and I don't think that's very interesting as a game, Street Fighter Cross Tekken. And he said, well, that's what he enjoys is the neutral game. He enjoys, and I think that with Smash Brothers, you'll never really be able to 100% have that neutral environment. There's always some small fraction of some random element that pops into the mix, and that's why a lot of people don't tend to like it. But I'll go to Arturo. Is he back? Art, are you back?
Yes, I'm back.
All right, Arturo, do you think it is fair to say that the Smash community is part of the reason why it's so polarizing? Do you think it's fair that the Smash players kind of get categorized a certain way as sort of being a little bit maybe antisocial or lacking social skills? Do you think that's fair that they get kind of typecast that way?
I'm so
No,
glad you're asking him that
absolutely.
question.
Absolutely not. I feel that like Smash has been getting SF4 numbers before SF4 even existed, and regardless of my gripes with the game's been alive for like 10 years. So 10 years is pretty much OG status, aka ST or Third Strike or any other of these games that we look back and say, oh, they're true old school classics. So regardless of my feelings, I pretty much have to hold that shit, and that's pretty much how I feel about Smash.
No, I think that's very astute. Gutex, do you agree? Do you think it's fair that the Smash players tend to carry a certain stigma?
I mean, I think everybody. That's like saying like when we as fighting game people get upset that Kotaku is like, oh, fighting game community is full of like unshaven neckbeards. Like, that's not. It's like the same thing if we try to say that Smash players are like that. The one thing I will say is maybe they're a little bit on the young side, maybe.
I was
But
going to say
even
that.
then, it's like, wow, of course they're on the young side.
I will say this: like the female to male ratio at Smash tournaments is way higher than FGC tournaments. That's a fact.
Ah,
Way
well,
higher.
Why do you think that is? What do you think that is, Arturo?
I don't know. I think it's Nintendo. I think it's the Nintendo.
Hey, it could be it.
Seriously.
yeah,
Martin, do
that
you think
makes a lot of sense.
do you think the audience being a little bit younger makes it a little bit less intimidating for female gamers who want to come out and compete?
Absolutely, because on the East Coast, like where the scene is popping for both Smash and Street Fighter, East Coast players for fighting games pop off. Smash players pop off, but during the top 8 of Apex, like all the Smash gods got mad at CD Junior because they weren't used to East Coast shit talk. So I guess not. I guess they don't really pop off.
It's like a less intimidating environment over there.
Yeah,
I have
definitely.
been to a few tournaments where there was a lot of Smash players where it was primarily like Apex, where it was primarily a Smash event, and then they had kind of fighting games in the background. And I will say, with I have very limited experience with Smash. I have never played it competitively. I played it a lot, but not like any serious play, just as at parties and stuff. But almost all the Smash players I've ever met, maybe they're a little weird, but I think you could probably say the same thing for most video game communities. There's some weirdos out there, but for the most part, they were pretty respectful kids. They were kids, but they were nice. Which brings me to a follow-up question, though. Martin Blake, Smash is on the roster at Evo. Evo is, for better or for worse, more of an adult event. It is in Las Vegas, which is not the most kid-friendly environment in the world. And there's not really much to do there except get drunk and play video games. Do you see a lot of the Smash community even being able to make it out to this event? I'm not trying to be facetious here. How many people do you see a lot of these people coming out?
Depending on where they live, yeah, well, that's one factor of it. But you know what? Here's the thing: if they can take their parents', credit card to pay for the donation drive, I'm sure they can do it again to fly out to Vegas, get a hotel and come attend Evo.
Gutex, the chat is pointing out, rightfully so, that as the fighting game community has aged and tends to be a little bit older, the Smash community has aged a little bit and tends to be a little bit older. But I don't know. It's been my personal experience that the average Smash players, the ones I've met, are a little bit on the young side. How about you? What about the people that you're seeing that are playing this game?
Oh, I've actually never seen anybody play this game, so I couldn't tell you. But
Yo,
hey, that's
yo,
cool,
Barry.
man. You know,
Go on,
about it
go
like
on.
this. Imagine if you were a Smash player and you were like in your early 20s, and this could be whether or not you were swiping your parents' credit card to pay for the trip, or whether or not you had your own money and you were able to pay for the trip yourself. Either way, this could be the first time that a lot of these, I'm not going to call them kids, that a lot of these guys and young ladies come to Evo and Vegas. Like, dude, that's awesome. We're going to have all these new people come through, and then depending on when the finals are in the lineup, they may be swiftly shooed away by the amount of people that are heckling and talking shit. Or it could go the other way, and we have all these people, and everybody loves it, and it's a great finals.
Well, we could. I mean, like Arturo brought up a good point earlier. This game has been around for 10 years. Is reached a kind of OG status in its own right. Arturo, do you think that this evolution is the chance for the Smash community to show up in Vegas and say, "Hey, you know what? You guys don't know what you're fucking talking about. We are young people, yeah, but we're in our 20s, or some of us maybe in our early 30s. We're mature adults. We play this game. We want to have a scene." Do you think this is their chance to come out to a big event like Evo and do it right this time and basically join the fighting game community for good, like assimilate and be a part of this for good?
Absolutely, man. I think that from what I heard so far, since like I just got here, like it seems that like none of you guys know about Smash. So on the East Coast, there's always been like a Smash scene since like 2006, 2005, whatever. Like those guys have always been merged like on the East Coast since a lot of those guys from OG Deadly Alliance, they were part of Empire Arcadia, and Alex Strife used to run local New York City tournaments back in the day. That always integrated Smash and Street Fighter games. So it's not anything new to me. I think that by them being at Evo, like the FGC is going to be kind of shocked at like how big their scene is, because like I said, they've been generating SF4 numbers before SF4 even existed, and like nobody seems to like acknowledge that. You know what I mean?
No, that's true. I've
so
seen.
So I think people should capitalize on that. If anything, like there's definitely like a market for Smash Brothers. People will be stupid to like ignore it.
Well, I
Are we going to start? Yeah, more Smash Brothers content. Maybe that's the real opportunity here.
I agree. Yeah, I agree, man. Like,
well, I feel that.
There.
Yeah, I feel that Evo should definitely give them the respect that they deserve, especially after, putting in all this money for that donation drive. Don't put them on a secondary stream. Put them on the main stage. Give them some time.
Yeah, I think they should be main stage for sure. Absolutely.
Well, I mean, Arturo talks about the numbers, and that's true. These guys have been putting tournaments together with literally hundreds of players. They drew Street Fighter 4 numbers before there was Street Fighter 4. During the Street Fighter Dark Age of Street Fighter Third Strike and CVS 2, before Street Fighter 4 revitalized Street Fighter in North America, it could be argued that Smash Brothers was the most competed in fighting game, period. These guys were putting tournaments out with 100-something players, and now here we are, 3-4 years after Street Fighter has brought fighting games back to the forefront in North America, and they have a chance to come to Evolution, a chance to prove a lot of people wrong with their misconceptions. And what really impresses me is the fact that they've been able to do this with zero developer support whatsoever. In fact, they have a hostile developer. Nintendo has gone on record with being passive-aggressive towards the community at best and outright denying these guys' existence at worst. Like, they do not care for this.
Oh, that's awesome. I can't wait for them to start sending them cease and desists. You can't use Smash Brothers to make videos.
They've been making like derivative Smash Brothers games. I bet you there's been a ton of C&Ds. I don't know though. But there's been a lot of like Smash Brothers derivatives.
Isn't there the Project M, which is the version of Brawl that the homebrew version
like
of Brawl?
There's like 2 or 3, dude. There's like Super Smash Flash. It's like a Game Boy style version. It's like there's so many versions, dude.
And I mean, this is a scene that has flourished in the face of, like I said, zero support from the developer. There has been zero tournament dollars donated by Nintendo to any tournament.
That's what I'm saying. Like people have to hold that shit. Like There's definitely a huge community there.
Well, maybe this is an opportunity for. Well, okay. Think of it this way: isn't Namco developing the next one, right? So
Yes.
Namco certainly has shown that they will support tournaments. We've seen that through Soul Calibur as well as Tekken. So if they're developing the next one, you better believe that there will be a mode to turn off all the randomness, and these guys will probably certainly support the next Smash Brothers because they have a history of doing so.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting to see. This could be a pivotal point for Smash Brothers to
course.
getting the chance at the main
Yeah, I
stage of
think that
Evo.
Namco might blow it. Might be the X factor.
Well, I mean, if it does well at Evo this year, this could be a definite feather in Namco's cap to make a push towards some competitive changes towards Nintendo. I mean, they are basically in a position where they have to. Obviously, most of the changes have to go through Nintendo, but if Smash does well at Evolution, Namco can come forward and say, "Hey, man, you guys have something on your hands. Why don't you let us do this with it or that with it, and maybe give the fans some of what they've been looking forward to all this time." So,
Exactly. I can see Filthy Rich being like, "Hey guys, look what I've done for Soul Calibur. Look what I've done for Tekken. We can prove that with this amount of tournament support or these features in the game, that it generates this amount of traffic, which this amount of content, which sends this amount of traffic, which converts into sales. So, do you want to get this money? Yes or no?"
speaking of getting this money and waiting to be seen. This past week, Twitch TV announced Twitch Turbo, a premium service available to anyone who wishes to pay a fee to subscribe to the service. It's rolling out. I believe it's starting. You can go ahead and subscribe now, although some people are saying the functionality isn't 100% yet, but it's out there. Martin, why don't you give us the rundown on Turbo? Just give us the facts here. Let us know about Twitch Turbo and what it is.
I just applied for a job at Twitch, so I got to watch what I say.
Yes.
So Twitch Turbo allows you for $8.99 a month.
Should have been $8.95, by the way.
Yeah, it
Just
should have
saying.
been $8.95. $8.99 a month to watch pretty much any stream on Twitch ad free. And what that does, it doesn't really go to the streamers per se, but it goes directly to Twitch. And in that, like, you get a bunch of cool features. Any other Twitch channel that you're subscribed to, you can use their icons across any type of or any other stream that you watch. It has a bunch of other features. You can change the color of your name to a bunch of other different things that are. They have a lot more than just the default. I think they have like 8 default, but now you can like change it pretty much to whatever you want. You get a cool little new purple icon next to your name, and they're going to be adding a bunch of other features in the future.
So I'll lead off with Gutex here. And like we start off the conversation with Smash with a very basic question, I'll start out the conversation here with a very basic question. Gutex, is this necessary? Is Twitch Turbo a necessary thing?
It's necessary in the sense that it's an opportunity for Twitch to pick up money that was previously left on the table. The biggest, I mean, you always want to give people, in my mind, an option to pay for something, even if you're currently giving it away for free. I mean, there's got to be a certain percentage of their audience in the 1 to, let's say, 5 to 6% that would be like, oh, sure, like I love Twitch and I want to support Twitch just because I watch streams all day and whatever, it's $9. Like I don't care about spending the money every month. Like, here you go. So from that perspective, yeah, I mean, like, why would you not do it? They're not forcing it down anybody's throat. But then it's just a real question of what are the implications of having this like sort of meta subscription feature when they've been pushing the channel specific subscription feature in the past.
Arturo Sanchez, you're a guy who is heavily involved with a group that has its own channel that features subscription-based modeling with Team Spooky. First off, I want to get back to this. I want to center this discussion on how Turbo affects the fighting game community, but I want to ask you specifically before we move any further. How does it make you feel to see sort of a global subscription option being offered when you represent a broadcaster that has its own subscription option to kind of think about?
Oh well, I'm gonna play. I'm gonna play the neutral card on this role. Like on one hand, like apparently Twitch Turbo is gonna benefit smaller streamers because if people subscribe to Twitch Turbo, people that were in countries that wouldn't get ads anyway, it would count as an ad impression if they were on Turbo. But then on the other hand, if since it's a global service, what's the value of subscribing to an individual channel? So the
Exactly.
only thing that changes by this happening is that people will have to, like, on a channel by channel basis, provide like a value service to make people want to subscribe to their channel. That's all, which is fine. So I want to see how it turns out. Like, I mean, I don't expect like that much of an ad bump if anything, but they have added new features. Like now you can play multiple commercials like in one loop. Now you can set it up to 3 minutes, and you can have it in multiple 30-second intervals, which is nice. But we'll see. I don't know.
Martin,
But
do
now
you
that begs the question. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
go ahead? Go ahead.
Like now it's like, well, if you have the Turbo subscription, how many people are really going to also pay a monthly subscription for one of the individual channels? For example, if I subscribe to I Play Winner and I subscribe to Team Spooky, now am I going to cancel my subscriptions and just be like, oh, well, instead of spending $5 each, I'm going to spend $9 total and just go Turbo, and then I Play Winner and Team Spooky both lose those subscribers in favor of the overarching subscription.
Well, the thing is too about that is that it's not going to take away some of the other features. Like Twitch Turbo won't bypass. If a stream wants to do like an HD stream, pay for an HD stream, it's not going to bypass that. Or if they want to do pay to chat, it's not going to bypass that either. So there is some benefits to subscribing to the channel you like most. But yeah, I totally understand that, and that's the thing I don't understand is like, if people are going to subscribe to, I Play Winner and Twitch Turbo, that's $15 a month. Are they really going to do that, or are they just going to drop I Play Winner and go Twitch Turbo?
Well,
Exactly. I mean, where's the value in subscribing to multiple channels plus Turbo as a whole?
Well,
Well,
the
I
other
mean,
thing I don't.
See, like that's when you do. That's when you do subscriber giveaways. That's why I feel that the people that are ready, the people that have content, the people that have like equipment, the people that have stuff to give away will benefit the most in the long run.
I kind of wish they'd be a little bit more open about it though, because they're not explaining exactly how much these, phantom ad clicks are worth. Because they said, yeah, we'll give them money as if they watched an ad. Well,
Yeah, we actually don't know. There's no transparency on that. Like, I mean, actually, like looking at the stats on Twitch, it's still like nowhere near the level of metrics that say YouTube is at. So they have a while to go in that regard.
well, here's the thing: the fighting game community is kind of notorious for the stream monsters and the ad block is kind of a joke, almost like a running punchline in chats. When you see like streams where they're running a lot of ads and people who are watching the ads are complaining about the ads, like you get half the chat with an EMP handle saying like what ads, LOL, ad block. I mean, like you have a community that,
Yeah.
for better or worse, some of them don't really care to spend money on this stuff. They want
Yeah,
the free services.
I know. It doesn't really matter. I'm gonna take like the Gutex approach and say it doesn't really matter as long as they're watching. I mean, even if they're ad blocking, the CPM is so low anyway that it doesn't really fucking matter. So I'm just happy that they're watching. Right?
I like
At least
that.
on
I like
Twitch.
that. No, it's true. It's true. Like, who cares? You have to assume that like at least 80 to 90% of your audience is casual viewers, and they're not going to pay a dime for anything ever, no matter what you offer them. So let's just focus on that remaining 10 to 15% that it is possible. Maybe these people are the ones that will pay for other content, or they will come to events.
Do you think this is
Yeah.
Twitch's way of kind of putting the fighting game community on blast, kind of offhandedly?
Oh, no way. No,
That
no
putting
way.
maybe-
everyone on blast.
Well, I mean,
no
do
way. Like, we're
StarCraft,
not that big.
do StarCraft
Yeah, we're
and
not
League
that
of
big.
Legends, do these guys?
They complain about it hardcore.
All right.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
they're in the
like,
same
I'm
boat
saying,
as
they're not
us.
putting us on blast, man. It's like they're not even worried about us right now. Don't worry, man.
All
me.
right.
Yeah,
Don't even
yeah,
care
we're
about us.
like not that significant.
Well, we will try to get we were trying to get Ben Goldhaber, aka Fish Sticks from Twitch, to appear on the program. He's offered to appear on the program, but there's been some scheduling conflicts. So we're going to see about getting him on the program to talk a little bit more about this in the future, and we can get a little bit more of the Twitch side of the story. Maybe he can give us some answers to some of these questions that we have and share some details about Twitch Turbo in the future. But we're more concerned about how it's going to relate to the fighting game community as a whole. So going forward, we'll see what this means for the fighting game community. It seems like it's a lot of people who have some doubts. Hopefully Twitch is going to be able to alleviate some of those doubts going forward.
Like, what are the main things that you would want answered about Twitch Turbo?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of, the main thing right now is, like Arturo is talking about, with transparency with regards to revenue sharing on impressions.
Yeah,
we
need more transparency. Like, actually, like a lot of YouTube channels have been, a lot of YouTube networks have been pulling for that, like more transparency, like on metrics and whatnot. I just want to see more of that on Twitch. Like, it would be nice, and I would like to see, like, clearly in writing, like what the difference is between pre-rolls and like mid-rolls. And for those guys that don't know what that means, pre-rolls are when you go into a stream and you get like a forced, like, injected ad onto your stream, and the mid-rolls are whenever we run commercials. So the pre-rolls apparently cost more than, you get more money for the pre-rolls than the mid-rolls. So more like outlay and transparency of that would be great.
Well, it's ridiculously hard to know which part of streaming on Twitch is the part that is the one that's generating the most money for you. I mean, do I even need to think or worry about running mid-rolls, or should I just focus on the pre-rolls? Whereas on YouTube, if you have a partner channel, you can see your stats day by day, and you can see, like, this video made me X amount. These are the days that the ad revenue was the highest. But on Twitch, all you get is one number at per day or whatever, and it's just like, oh, this is what you made. But it's like, well, how do I make more out of this? This is why, like, I don't spend any time focusing on, like, streaming, because it's like,
it's just like, at the same time, I'm definitely like not hating. I may have hated in the past, but I'm definitely glad that streaming is available, and I just feel it's like all hands on deck right now. So it's like, whatever, like, maybe in the future, hopefully Twitch turns it up, but I don't know.
Well, I understand why they did Twitch Turbo. From a marketing standpoint, it doesn't really do Twitch the best type of service, because now you're making streamers compete against your own company. Like, because now you're making those streamers come up with additional content or additional ways to get people to subscribe to them versus going to Turbo, and I don't think that was the right move.
Hey, if they negotiate better ad deals across the board for higher CPM, then it'll be worth it. But right now, like, it's not that good.
This is the catch. How would you know if they didn't negotiate a higher CPM?
That's a
we
very
wouldn't
good
know
insight.
we wouldn't know until we see it, like, in our statements, basically.
That's a lot of good insight from a couple of guys that have been on the front line of the streaming on Twitch. I think there's a lot of details to work out, but like I said, we'll see what we can do about getting Ben on the program in the coming weeks, and see if we can get some questions from you guys asked to Ben, and see what we can do about getting some of these issues cleared up. Does anybody have any closing thoughts on the Twitch issue?
I mean, really, there's nothing until we can get some more answers from Twitch themselves.
Well, I mean, there's nothing to say. I mean, Twitch. I mean, right now they're the only game in town, and I don't think they're
really
against the fighting game community per se. I don't really think that Twitch is out to, like, kill the fighting game community or anything like that, or they're like, oh, screw you guys. I just think that the lines of communication aren't very open is all, and hopefully, like, if we get, like, somebody on the show to clear up some things, that would be great. I think that's the most we can hope for.
Yeah, they're not trying to target us. They're not even trying. I don't think they're trying to target any community. I think they're just doing what they need in order to flourish as a business. Because with all this extra revenue, they, in a perfect world, right? They get all these Turbo subscribers, right? And now they can pay somebody to build these, to build the analytics, so that we can see all the metrics that we want to see. So if you think about it like that, then this is great because now they'll have a larger budget for these things.
Well,
I think one
I
thing
think the
that Twitch
idea
needs
that
to. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
go ahead, Martin.
Well, what I was going to say is that one thing that Twitch should not be hearing is what I'm hearing a lot on Twitter and everywhere else is that people are using Twitch is because they're the only service out there. That's something that you as a company would never want to hear. And if they're more open about things, I think that would resolve a lot of issues, and you wouldn't be hearing those complaints.
Well, I
Yeah,
think I agree with
I have,
Gutex that it's silly to think that they're targeting the fighting game community. Or they don't like the fighting game community. They want to run us out. Because, I mean, we may not, a fighting game major may not pull in the 3 million to 7 million people that are watching, League of Legends Season 2 finals or whatever the number was for that. But, I mean, 25,000 viewers for a major like NCR or CEO, and then a million to 2 million viewers for Evo. I mean, those aren't small numbers, and it's
Dude,
in Twitch's best interest to make sure that we grow as a community. Definitely.
dude, Dari, like the way I see it is like this, like Big Two, well, not Big Two, Next Level Battle Circuit got 9,000 people last night for a local tournament, concurrent viewers. If Twitch replicates that across the board, it would be great. It would be fantastic for them. They want to replicate like the kind of success that guys like us have had.
I would love to know the CPM you got from that, by the way.
Oh wow.
It's all about that. No, but see, like we didn't go down. It's just like one long archive. So there's no pre-rolls that much. It's only for the people that came in and left. We never went down. So who knows? Because Spooky doesn't run commercials.
See, I have to disagree that Twitch is the only game in town because there are two like glaring options in my mind. Number one is YouTube Live. Number two is putting together your own stream, which from a technical perspective is not that hard, in my opinion.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Like I mean, you're right. And then the only question with that is like, what's the total cost of operations for the latter?
oh
Exactly.
well, you just have to you have to understand how much bandwidth you're going to be sending out based on your bit rate, your frame rate, and the amount of time that you're going to be streaming, and then calculate how much you're going to need to charge people in order to deliver that amount of bandwidth.
Dex. Good
So,
Dex.
Which is why you haven't
Yeah.
done it yet.
Oh well, like just so everybody is clear, right? In order for you to in order for a channel that's partnered to go the subscription model, as far as I understand, you have to sign an exclusivity deal for streaming. So, and in addition to that, the percentage is okay. Like a percentage of the revenue is going to Twitch, which of course it should, but the exclusivity is the part that keeps me from not wanting to do that because if I'm able to put together a really big exhibition match, let's say I got Daigo versus Infiltration Part 3 or whatever, then and I do my numbers and I'm confident in basically putting together my own platform using existing content delivery networks, then I should be able to charge, let's say, between $4 and $5 for one particular event. And I don't have to worry about supporting 10, 20, 30, 50, 100,000 concurrent viewers. Realistically, I only need to worry about supporting a couple hundred max because like how many people out there for something like that are really going to be paying for a pay-per-view only stream?
Now, is that something that you would look or you would want to do? Like you personally, would you want to privatize that platform?
Well, yeah, for certain things that I work on, yeah, why not? Like I mentioned earlier about how I think 80 to 85% of the audience will never pay anything. I would rather focus on the 10 to 15% that has a chance of paying. And everybody on stream, I'm sure, is like, oh, like Gutex, all about that paper. But it's like, well, how is it that I can grow cross counter without making some money? And if I can grow cross counter and make some more money, then I can put together better matches and give you guys more entertainment. Like this is the way that business works, right? So to take a big match and make it pay-per-view only for people who want to watch it live is obviously the next logical step with all of this. Look at wrestling, look at boxing, look at MMA. You can't watch any of this shit live without paying for it. Now, what makes video games any different? So, although it's in my mind, like if you make all this stuff pay-per-view, sure, you can put the archives on YouTube the next day, but it's not live, right? And it doesn't cost you anything. But to put together your own platform, not basically your own platform, but I mean, you don't need to put together your own platform to do it this way, but like charging people to watch it live is the same thing as charging people to get into the venue, you know? It's just like a slightly different business model, and I think experimenting with that is at least it's smart to at least experiment with it to see like how would it go. Certainly all the people would be there'd be a ton of people that are mad, but hey, I mean, whatever, like you weren't going to pay anything anyway, so what do I care if you're mad?
So we shouldn't be expecting that anytime soon then.
I could put it together. The hard part is not putting together the actual video stream. The hard part is actually putting together the match and also kind of creating the web platform, the website for it. Not actually. Yeah.
Hey, would you? What if Twitch gave you like a good contract? Would you change everything that you're saying and just stay on Twitch with exclusivity?
If the percentage of what they were keeping was in line with what I thought it was, what I thought it was, I would at least consider it. But signing an exclusivity contract would mean foregoing the ability to run my own pay-per-view experiments, which is ultimately what I think is going to drive this whole thing forward.
Interesting, cool.
So,
like I just wanted your thoughts on it. So like your insight on it is always much appreciated, I think. So thanks.
We appreciate all you guys' insight on the Fray. Very interesting conversation that kind of took place here about Twitch Turbo. It was good to see views from not only a viewership standpoint, but from a broadcaster standpoint with a bunch of guys that have some experience in the broadcaster role with some long-time, more popular channels on Twitch, talking about this service that's rolling out soon. It may be a little bit too early to say about Twitch Turbo. It could be really great for the fighting game community. It could help develop a lot of content as far as encouraging growth in a market-based environment, encouraging competition, encouraging people to come to step up their game with their content. So we'll have to wait and see what Twitch Turbo holds for the fighting game community. Like I said before, we're going to talk about possibly getting Ben Goldhaber on the program to talk a little bit more about Twitch Turbo in the future, but we're going to take a little time to see what's going to develop. That's going to be it for this week, though, guys. Thanks for tuning in to The Fray. We broadcast live every Thursday. You can catch the YouTube archive broadcast via our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/iplaywinner. This week we discussed the announcement of NCR, Smash Brothers, and Twitch Turbo. I really enjoyed the Smash Brothers broadcast personally. I don't really know that much about the game, and my opinion is that of a Street Fighter player versus versus a Smash player, and I'll be the first to admit that I don't know that much about it, but it was good to talk about the game and get a little bit more insight on it. But yeah, we'll be here next week for you guys, next Thursday. I want to send a special thank you to our guests. We had Arturo Sanchez on the program. You can follow him on Twitter at NYCFurby. We had Gutex on the program. We can follow him at Gutex. And we had Martin Blake on the program. You can follow him on Twitter at Blu-ray.
Yeah, by the way, Arturo and Ryan, I would like to hear some pitches of your stuff. Like, you got the Iron Fist League going on, and then Ryan.
Oh yeah, well the Iron Fist League is pretty much a online Tekken league run by Anakin, like one of the best Tekken players in the world, like who I think is the best Tekken player in the U.S. We pretty much have a 24-man league focusing on some of the best players in the East Coast and the Southeast. So it's sponsored by Final Round, Mad Cats, Winter Brawl, and Namco Bandai Games. So yeah, like it's on every Tuesday at 8 p.m. on my channel, twitch.tv/NYCFurby. So yeah, check it out. And yeah, Gutex, what do you got lined up?
Cross Country Live Tuesdays. If you're in the area, in the LA area, we do casuals as part of the show too. So if you guys want to come play for freezies on Tuesdays in Hollywood, then come check out Cross Country Live. Also, the next bar fights is February 24th, which is the same day as the final round. I mean, the Winter Brawl finals. So we're having a stream party. So if you guys want to come down, play some casuals, and watch the stream, we're going to be doing it at the same spot that we did last time. All the info will be on crosscounter.tv.
All right, Martin, you don't have anything to plug?
No. I mean, I'm everywhere. I'm doing stuff for everyone. You can go to my website, martinblake.com. I just updated it. It's my portfolio site. So if you want to see more of what I can do besides overlays, you can go over there and check it out.
All right then. Well, thanks for tuning in this week, guys. Catch us next week. We'll be live again at 7 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, twitch.tv/iplaywinner. And like I said, you can catch the replays on youtube.com/iplaywinner. Until then, in Magus1234 as absence, yo, Fray!